Got a surprise here. I actually didn't even know these had come out. We've got the Sig P226X Legion, single action only with the Sig lock optics mounting. Quite a setup to take a look at. Tabletop review and field strip coming up next on Now this was sent by Sig, so thanks to them for sending that. And yes, I've already been playing with it because, well, I was pretty excited. In the box, you've got the gun. You've got 3 18-round magazines that come with it. We have tools for adjusting the optics and the little pins for changing the Sig lock to run a different optic on there. Now this Sig lock system I also was not super familiar with. This is the Romeo X that's on here. The way Sig lock works is there's a total of 5 points of contact between the optic and the pistol, and the screws come in through the bottom of the slide. That allows the optic to sit very, very low, and it's got a dovetail type setup in the front, as well as some recoil lugs, a lateral or a lengthwise running lug as well. And so it's supposed to be the most rugged optic setup. It's what they developed for the M17 project, and it's now on commercial guns like this. So a neat setup. This came pre-mounted, so I'm not going to mess with it because it also appears to be pre-zeroed, and I definitely don't want to have to mess with that. This being a media sample, I did not get the Legion challenge coin that I thought came with Legions. This is my first time ever handling a Legion. Did get plenty of Legion decals, as well as quite a list or a pile of ads and things, and the manual being a bit different. You guys know I always go through the manuals for 2 reasons. 1, to show us how well the company cares about us, the consumers, and 2, to show the YouTube overlords that when I field strip this thing, it's basic end level user maintenance. Unfortunately, this pamphlet is just a list of warnings and safety notices. The actual manual is this QR code, so manual reviewer, you're welcome to scan that and check, and then watch to see that I follow those procedures. Inside the manual, there was a thing for ammunition. Now what's interesting is this does not have any specific model number to it, but I always get asked the question, can I run plus P ammunition in the gun? And according to the manual, it says SAMI specification ammunition, which includes plus P. Plus P is a SAMI spec. Plus P plus, however, is not. However, this is a 4.4 inch barreled gun, so we have no need for plus P ammunition, as that is used to compensate for a barrel under 4 inches when we're talking about 9mm. And now we're onto the gun, and this thing is handsome. I was curious what colors it's going to come out in video, because all the pictures I've seen have been a little bit different, and that probably means it's not very easy to photograph or film. It, to my eye, is kind of a greenish gray clay mud kind of color, maybe with a hint of brown in it, but it's the Legion gray that Sig has. What makes the 226X model different, and this one on top of that being a single action only, is we have a 35-degree crown on the muzzle, that nice kind of trumpet look, the X model slide that has this cut here, as you've seen on other Sigs. We've got a rail, we've got checkering on the front strap. Of course, for the Legion, we have Legion grips, and this is a single action only model that has a pretty nice trigger to it. I'm going to jump straight to the trigger talk because I can. The safety on it, by the way, because yes, I played with this for a couple hours before I was able to come up and film. The safety is beautiful. It's a nice, positive, solid, definitive click, and yes, my thumbs go backwards. It's just a natural thing. But it's positive, definitive mark or feel when you've disengaged it, and when it's engaged. That's something I like. And the contour on this, you'll have to check the pinned comment over on my website. I'll give a better photo of it. But there's a slight downward contour to the safety that makes it really easy to sweep a thumb onto, but it's not so far down that you shouldn't be able to rest your thumb on it to shoot in 1911 style. More on that when we get to the range. Now onto this trigger talk. We're clear. I was really curious what this would be like. I like DASA. This being a single action only, I thought, okay, they can go nuts on the single action. We have a spring-loaded, somewhat spongy take up to a wall, and a very nice break. I did leave the mag in, so I'll have to be careful on my stroke. The reset, some spring assist, taking you back to a little bit of that take up before the wall again. The pull, to me, feels appropriate for carry. I was looking at this thing, wondering who exactly is this for. The 226 is classically a duty gun, likely carry it in an outside the waistband holster, or someone who is obviously expected to be armed, not necessarily a concealed firearm. It's also a hefty pig for full specs. Again, check the pinned comment. I'll have them all listed there. But it's got some heft to it. But this trigger is actually one I kind of wish some of my carry guns had, because it is clean enough for what I believe to be well-timed shots. Again, we'll see that in the range video, but it's still got an appropriate weight to it. I know this is all out of order, not my typical GBGuns tabletop, but this is an exciting gun to have. Let's get back to that standard. With the pistol obviously empty and it flipped upside down, do we have magazine ejection or release? And you can see we definitely have ejection, kicking it out quite a bit. 18 round mags, windowed on the right side of the gun. I say it every time I see it. I wish witness windows would be either on the back or on the left side of the magazine, so that when I pull up and as I'm presenting to reload, I can get a quick scan of the magazine on one of the two sides that I can see, not on the other side. The perk to windows on this side is it's easier to see while loading. If you hold the magazine in your left hand, load with your right hand. Whatever, I know they have to pick a side. Just for me, rear or left is my preferred. All right, that out of the way, we can get on with our standard tabletop. Coming up front to the muzzle, you can see that beautiful crown there. Nice deep crown, try to get the light to hit it. We've got some slide to frame play, but that doesn't matter because your sights are mounted on the same thing the barrel is. What does matter is how tight the barrel locks in there, and it does not want to move at all. A little bit of beveling on the nose. It is a fairly narrow nose gun, so you don't have to worry about chopping chunks off like you would say on a block. We've got plenty of rail space underneath. Nice touch of the crosshex texturing on the front of the trigger guard as well as underneath. For those who, what happened to my white balance there? Let me fix that. I guess more proof that this color is difficult to get right. Hopefully it stays now. But we've got the crosshatch texturing on the front and bottom of the trigger guard. The front for those that like to do the European style, the bottom for the support hand. And that's something that I know a lot of people like. I've always questioned just how useful it is. While it gives you good feel, that's a really squishy part of the finger, at least on my fingers. Maybe some of you guys have ripped fingers, I don't know. You also notice that we've got holes there and there passing through, presumably to adjust the trigger. I'm not going to mess with that. The manual will probably explain more, but I'm going to run it out of the box as I do for all of my reviews. Coming in, you can see we've got the subtle Legion chevrons tucked into the grip and a nice cross hatch texturing on the front strap, which is a nice upgrade from the earlier models. A little bit of beveling for the magazine well, and you can see how far this grip is extending around the actual size of the gun. But I tell you, for my XXL glove hands, it feels really, really nice in hand. We also have our slide stop release lever extended and kind of tucked back here. My thumb wants to reach for that decocker, but it's not there on this gun. Slide to frame fit in the rear, also some play. You can see that this comes with the X-ray night sights and that this Romeo X enclosed dot is on. I've covered the Romeo X enclosed previously on other models. I have not had one of these Siglock models, but this is a newer one, and this is the circle dot, which is one of my preferences. Coming on the right side of the gun, we've got our safety, which is just as positive over here. Curious to see if this assembles like a 1911 or not on the safety. If we get independent play, there is a little bit of independent play there. That happens because of the way those safeties usually get assembled. Not a problem though, it still feels positive on this end, and at least most humans only use one side of safety at a time. On the right side you can also see we have our external extractor. Everything looks pretty sharp, feels pretty good. That bit of play there, again, I'm not worried about it. I know some people like to pick on those things. I think that amount of play allows for stuff to be in the tracks of the rails and make its way out as the gun cycles versus freezing up the gun. Next though, we'll field strip and take a look inside the gun. Field stripping is fairly straightforward. Lock the slide to the rear, and we've got our takedown lever here. Rotate that down. Let the slide come forward straight off the frame, and here comes, okay, I guess it isn't just a visual effect. I kept seeing in the light earlier a black strip here, but then it didn't look black when I returned it. It is definitely black, but let's just take a look inside, and you can see we've got full-length rails, a little bit of chattering already there towards the front, and our construction setup. I'm wondering if this black is a deliberate area that is not Cerakoted to make sure that the gun still slides nicely. You notice it's in the rear as well. That is a nice attention to detail. We've seen a couple guns on the channel already that had issues where the Cerakote got in the way. We have a non-captured recoil spring and a solid steel guide rod that has quite a bit of heft to it. Get our barrel out, and we can take a look inside of our slide. You can see here we have a safety plunger, very cleanly done, and there's the rear, or the, under mounting screws for that Sig lock setup. One of the things that I like about that is it definitely allows for co-witness because the optic can sit so low. Now we'll take a look at our barrel and chamber fit, give you a close-up of that crown. Now, crown does not need to be this deep of an angle. It's a style thing more than anything, but I like it. Crowning is simply to protect the rifling should the muzzle come in contact with anything, so you don't burr or mess up the end of the rifling there. It's a beautiful barrel. It looks nice and clean. Grab a piece of Liberty ammunition for our chamber fitment chest. I'm using Liberty ammunition because of the nickel plating. Helps with corrosion resistance for a round that I handle a lot. It also reduces friction, so we get a nice fair insertion. Hopefully the lighting is catching the beveling that's on the sides there. That speaks well to our What's for Dinner test from the range video. Drop that in, listen for a plunk. Nice plunk there. Make sure the round can rotate freely. There's no burrs in there. And then looking for chamber support, this is a fully supported chamber, which means that should the brass want to rupture, and if anything, chamber's got a little extra play in it, but should that brass want to rupture, it's supported all the way around, and that'll help keep those forces, 35,000 psi or so, heading out the right end of the barrel and not back down into your hand. During reassembly, I'll tell you about what you can expect to see in that range video. You'll see my absolute first shots through the gun. That's right, I don't do any warm-up or practice, and I certainly don't cherry-pick my footage. Just turn on the camera and start shooting. We'll do a full magazine plus one with these 18-round magazines, see how the gun runs fully stuffed. Telling you what that range ammunition is, so again, there's no false softness or false extra recoil there. And then we'll take it over to the What's for Dinner table, see what the gun will eat by feeding it 10 additional loads from lightweight to heavyweight, see if we have any notable point of impact shifts or not. And then over to the spinner for sights and trigger control with that circle dot, red dot, and this trigger. That should be a good time. I'm looking forward to that. Then practical accuracy is 5 shots from 7 yards at a 1-inch square before I'll give you my concluding thoughts. And as always, further deeper thoughts and facts, the numbers, all of that kind of stuff will be in the pinned comment and will live over at the site that YouTube won't let me mention. Just appreciating the beveling here that's on these safety levers for meatier hands like mine. Man, this sure fits nice. I'm looking forward to getting to the range with this. That's a Sig P226X Legion SAO RSXL. Is the exact model. I know it's a mouthful. But again, check the pinned comment. That's where you'll see that and what the difference is between this and the other options out there, because these are not inexpensive. So you'll probably want to make sure you get the one that you are after. Thanks for watching. GBGuns, to level level, I'm G.Y.M.P. David F. Derrick S. Jr., Donald H. B2, Fast Eddie Gary B, George H. Greg K, Jenna I. Joseph T, Kevin B. Marvin T, Moses S. Peter A, Rich Scott King, Follow 215 Tom. Thanks for the tip, level Alan B, Bristol County Jail, Christopher J, Clinton Cubby Bear, David G, David P, Ed C, Farhan
Joseph MT, J.E. Mark S, Michael L. Mike, NC Technocon